And good evening, everybody. Hello, Chris Hughes coming to you. It's Wednesday night now, hump day, February the 5th, 2025. And here we are once again for another CarolinaPreps.com podcast. Going to call it Inside the Headset. I know I came out and I initially said I was going to call it Word on the Street because, that's always kind of been the moniker I get from coaches. They'll text me and say, hey, man, what's the word on the street? But I don't know. It just didn't have the same vibe. And, being a former coach, and all the work that we do with coaches. I just wanted to call it Inside the Headset. I think it sticks. I got to give the props to good pal of mine, Coach Jeremy Buck over there at Sanderson up there in the capital city of Raleigh. He's the one that kind of gave me in the headset. He's the one that said, man, you need to go with that. So, Coach Buck, if you're listening, that one there's for you. But anyway, hey, we got a jam-packed show. Don't have a lot of time to talk with a bunch of small talk. So I'm going to bring my first guest on. Another guy from the capital city up there in Raleigh. This is a mover and shaker, and I mean a young man who is doing some big things in the coaching world. And without further ado, I'm going to bring him on. Coach Brandon Simmons, you're the associate head coach at Southeast Raleigh High School, one of them Bulldogs up there working with my guy, E.J. Campbell. You guys have done some big things in a short amount of time at Southeast.
Yeah, appreciate you for having me on. Coach Campbell, it all starts with him. He's doing a great job of laying the foundation so that, us assistant coaches can just follow right on in and do our best to make his vision come alive.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I've known Coach Campbell for several years. Watched him kind of grow as a coach at up here in the Charlotte area, and then he took his talent and his suitcase and went to Raleigh and has just done great things ever since. So, Coach Campbell, I know you'll probably watch this in the replay, and that's cool. But giving you a shout out to your program. But Coach Simmons, you grew up in Hobden, and you played for the Wildcats, right?
Yes, sir. The
The
the,
the
the
Wildcats,
Wildcats
the
out
black
there.
and gold, and then you eventually end up at East Carolina where you did some big things. The Pirates. Just a brief moment, just kind of tell us about your football background, growing up in out there in Sampson County, and how you went through East Carolina and then worked your way into being a coach.
Oh wow. Well, appreciate that question. From a small town, Newton Grove, North Carolina, Sampson County. Like you said, Hopton High School. That's where I played my high school ball at. My brother and I, we graduated together. Well, after having a conversation with our head coach at the time, Steve Mallard, and our offensive coordinator Jeff Bird, we mentioned to them that we wanted to play college football. So out of Hopton. There was not a lot of interest from a lot of schools, but Elizabeth City State gave us the opportunity. Coach James, at the time, he earned his bones for being in Goldsboro, but ended up going to Elizabeth City State. He recruited my brother and I out of Hopton, and we ended up being there for a year. I appreciate the opportunity. Well, we wanted to get a little closer to home. So East Carolina was a lot further. Greenville was a lot closer than Elizabeth City. And anyone who knows anything about Eastern North Carolina or North Carolina in general knows that, Elizabeth City is in the top corner of the state. So we wanted to get home. Well, 3 years later, we had a good run. Coach Skip Holtz was our head coach. He did a great job of leading the team. Got a chance to be a part of some meaningful bowl games, conference championship, but most importantly, graduated and built some strong connections with a lot of teammates. Well, from there, like most, I was unsure what I wanted to do. I planned to pursue the NFL. That didn't work out, so I was stuck. Hey, I'm getting into sales. Well, one day I happened to go back home to visit my mother, and my high school coach said, "Hey, come out here, hang out with us." And before you know it, I was out there volunteering at Hobden High School. Enjoyed that experience, and that's when I realized that I wanted to coach. So from there, Smithfield Selma, I was there for 2 seasons. I started off as a defensive coordinator. Some people don't know that, but then after that, Will Orman gave me an opportunity to coach at Holly Springs High School. He left Leesville to become the head coach. I was working with the tight ends and the wide receivers. From there, I went to Lewisburg College, where I spent the season there coaching defensive linemen, hanging out with Coach Trevor Highfield. He was my defense coordinator, and learned a lot of ball there. Well, I always missed the high school game. So from there, I ended up going back to the high school ranks and joined Ross Sink at Wakefield High School. Got a chance to work with the running backs, the wide receivers. He named me the offensive coordinator. And then once he stepped away from football, I ended up going to Millbrook. Coach Inscore was the head coach. He gave me an opportunity as a special teams coordinator, quarterback coach. And then from there, Green Level, got a chance to help open the school with Coach Gudo. He gave me an opportunity, which brings me now to Southeast Raleigh. So I just completed my second year at Southeast Raleigh, where I served as offensive coordinator and backfield coach, recruiting coordinator, and I also teach business education. So I really enjoy my coaching journey so far, and that's how I got into coaching.
Well, like I said, I have been watching your career for about the past 10 years or so. I have been thoroughly impressed, not only with your football acumen and how you have been a huge asset to a lot of football coaching staffs. You know, you're mentioning some of the men that you've worked with along the years, and that's a who's who list of some really good football coaches. I was really impressed. You mentioned Coach Sink at Wakefield. You've just done a great job, and you're just one of those men that I've seen grow as a coach and how you present yourself, your philosophies, I guess is a good way of putting it with football. And I just think that you're a coach that is well overdue to be a head coach. Now, I don't know if that's your aspirations or not, but I think that a program would do them a huge service if they give you a call or the right fit for you, because I just think that you've got successful head coach written all over you.
Well, I appreciate your support, and I will say that when it's that time to make that move, I'll definitely be all in on it. But I'm a firm believer that I'm where my 2 feet are, and I'm having a great time working with the student athletes at Southeast Raleigh High School. I'll be coaching outdoor track and field this year as well. But I'm enjoying, I'm having fun, and when that opportunity comes, I'll definitely be ready.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. But one of the other reasons that I wanted to get you on here tonight with the CarolinaPreps.com, Inside the Headset podcast is, we're talking about being inside the headset. And, I feel like that's the one connection that I've been able to bring fans across the state is I kind of like to bring them inside the coach's office, kind of give them the perspective from the coach. Having been a long time coach myself, I see things from maybe a different lens than maybe your typical journalist who comes in to cover high school sports. And I started noticing a few months back an initiative that I seen you pushing online, the North Carolina Football Connection. And the more
Yes,
and more
sir.
I looked at it and looked at the content that you were pushing out, I got really impressed. And I also got really excited thinking, man, and I remember sending you a text or an email saying, hey, if you ever want to work together, I'm going to
Yes.
do whatever I can to promote you. And I just want to give you this opportunity to talk about the North Carolina Football Connection and what it is you hope to accomplish.
Well, appreciate that. And I will say over the years, you have been a consistent supporter throughout my career. So I appreciate your contributions, but most importantly, I appreciate you for, supporting me throughout the process, through the highs and lows. But yeah, so the purpose of the NC Football Connections is to bring visibilities to the various opportunities here in North Carolina. I was born here, I was raised here, so I love this state. And sometimes I don't feel that our state gets the attention that it deserves. Not just from an athletic perspective, but from a coaching perspective as well. So the purpose of launching it was to bring more community to North Carolina, to help North Carolina coaches to find jobs. Like I know this job, this profession is all about who you know. Well, I will say with confidence that there's a lot of great coaches out here that just want an opportunity to show what they can do. So the mindset behind launching it was to bring more opportunities for high school coaches, but also putting an emphasis on the professional development piece. I'm a huge fan of clinics. I love going to coaching clinics. I think that they're important. I think that professional development is very important as a coach. So I'm here to also push coaching clinics as well. And then lastly, I started a YouTube channel, and the purpose of the YouTube channel is to bring even more visibility to coaching issues or coaching situations. For example, on one podcast, we're talking about the importance of social media in recruiting. Another podcast, we're talking about the lens through a head coach. Another episode, we're talking about the interview process. So every episode has a focus, and I'm having fun doing it. And I appreciate all the supporters who's been on it thus far, and also the countless coaches across North Carolina for help um, push the information out, the content out.
Well, I think that is great, and again, I love the initiative that you've got going, and in a lot of ways, it's a lot of what I've been trying to do for the past 15 or so years, and trying to help coaches get interviews and network, and push for certain guys to get jobs. And like I said a few minutes ago, I think you're long overdue as well to be a head coach, and I know you will be one day, assuming that that's what you want. And I'll be first in line to come shake your hand and give you congratulations. There is some people out there already sending in some comments. And by the way, I appreciate everybody. I know we don't have a lot of viewers on yet. We're just starting the show back, so it's going to take a bit to kind of build the audience back up. But Coach, you've already got a fan, Richard Alsbrook, which is a guy I've known for a long time down in Greenville. Retired law enforcement officer, a huge supporter of ECU and just everything Greenville about high school football and just high school sports in general. He says, "Man, Pirate Nation loves you."
Well, I love Pirate Nation, and through the highs and the lows, I'm always going to be a proud supporter of ECU football. It opened up a number of different opportunities for me. I'm very connected to the program. I love to give back to the program, and when I'm not so locked down from coaching my own high school athletes, I will make time to go back to Greenville. But I watch every game, and I appreciate that support.
All right. And hey, we got one more comment as well. Before I cut you loose, I got to play this one. Coach Simmons is my guy. Cannot wait to see him at the clinic Friday. That's Coach Ian Tatum. So, Coach Tatum, appreciate the response. And anybody else there wants to throw us a message, I'll throw it up and give you a shout out as well.
Yeah, Coach Tatum, he's doing a very good job for North Carolina as well. He's pushing a lot of quality content out here as well, and he's a huge supporter of my career. And I truly appreciate his support and his shout out, definitely.
All right. He mentioned the clinic Friday. I will be in Greensboro for the North Carolina Football Coaches Association clinic and winter meetings. If you're there, I definitely hope to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Ian will be there. I'll definitely be there. And a few members from our staff will likely be there as well. So I'll be there on Friday, but I'll turn around and be in South Carolina on Saturday for our offensive defensive line clinic as well. This is clinic season, and this is always high on my list as far as things to do in the off season.
All right. I love clinic season. Have forever. It's a great time to get out and network and shake some hands and get reacquainted with maybe some friends that you haven't seen in a while, but also a good opportunity to meet coaches that you didn't know. And I've learned more in just sitting in a corner writing on a napkin at a clinic than I ever did. In a lot of other factions of coaching, and it's just great time.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what it's about. And even last year, I had a chance to go to the South Carolina coaching convention down there at Myrtle Beach, just to put my name, just to put myself out there. But most importantly, meet other coaches from other states to see how they're doing it. And the cool part about it is that I still keep in contact with them. I still see them here in North Carolina from time to time. But anytime you get a chance to go to a clinic, know what you're looking for. But most importantly, introduce yourself to at least one new person.
Yes, absolutely. One more time before I let you go, Coach Simmons. Tell the audience out here who may be new and maybe don't know how to access the North Carolina Football Coaches Associate or Coaches Connection. My apology. How they can find you and the different mediums that you're on out there in cyberspace.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that the easiest way to find the connections page is to have an X account. But if you simply type in NC Football Connections, the platform should pop up. And if that doesn't occur, just follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, and I will definitely do all I can to help point you in the right direction.
All right. Well, Coach Brandon Simmons, I appreciate you getting on with us here on this Wednesday night and talking some football. I look forward to seeing you Friday, and best of luck through the winter and through the off-season spring workouts with Coach Campbell as well, and hope to see you around.
Absolutely. Thank you for your support, and I appreciate all you do for high school football.
Thank you, sir. All right, guys. That is Coach Brandon Simmons, again, the associate head coach at Southeast Raleigh. Just a bang-up job that he's done throughout his career, and just delighted to have him on the show. And again, I appreciate everybody that is getting on to talk some football with us tonight. Again, if you want to leave me a message here, shoot it to us and we'll get it on and give you a shout out as well. I want to bring on another guest because, again, I told you we have a jam-packed show tonight. Not a lot of time for some small talk. This is a coach I've known for many, many years, coached together in Rowan County way back in the day. And without further ado, I'm going to bring on the new head football coach up at Davie County, Coach Brian Hinson. Coach, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
Hey, Chris, great to see you, man. I appreciate you having me on, and I don't know if I could be doing any better than I am right now with a great opportunity to go on.
You know, growing up a South Rowan guy, you know, we had back in the 90s, you know, we had that arch rival going on with Davie, and, you know, it was always DCAW, and, you know, kind of love to hate those guys because we had some rivalries back in them days. And now you're one of them, but congratulations. I know that they've got to be thrilled to have you. I think you're one of the top coaches of this time in the state. Got a state championship under your belt, and I just think that you're going to see some big things from you.
Well, I appreciate it, man. That's an awesome opportunity. And, you know, I just got off the phone with Brian Pitts, one of the reporters up in Davie County, and does a great job. But, you know, all this started back in 2000 whenever I did my student teaching, and I did my student teaching at Davie County. So it's been a big old circular event taking place that leads me back to Davie County. So I'm definitely excited about it and looking forward to great things, man. It's an awesome opportunity, an awesome place with great people. So it's going to be a great thing.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about it, and you know, especially, you know, we started coaching against each other. I think it was 01. You were at North Rowan with Coach Sechrist, and obviously, you know, being a terrific player at Catawba College, and then coming up and, you know, recruiting the area when you was an assistant coach at Catawba for many years. You had to have set foot on that campus at Davie quite a bit. I know you've seen them quite a bit throughout the years, and you know, it's no mistake, and they've had some great talent come through that school. You know, you think of the Cooter Arnolds and the Patrick Lowrys and you know, Cade Carney. I mean, there's probably a lot of them. DJ Rice that we could throw here forever to talk about some of the best athletes to come from Davie. So they've always had, you know, great talent, great tradition, and I have to imagine that just the tradition and the support along had to be a huge attraction for you to want to pursue that job.
Definitely one of the big reasons I was interested in the job, Chris. You know, my wife and I, we're about to celebrate our 20th anniversary, and I've talked to her about if this opportunity ever came open at Davie County, man, that's something I'd be interested in. And when the job came open, she told me, she said, if you don't apply for it, I might smack you because you talked about it for 20 years. But it's, you know, just like you said, Chris, the tradition, the history, and the pride that community takes in the high school and the athletics there is so appealing. I mean, not many schools that you can go to a wrestling match and almost pack out the gym. But Buddy Lowry and his staff has done a tremendous job at Davie County making wrestling relevant, and they'll pack out a gym. And it's just people are excited to be a part of Davie County athletics, and I'm excited to be a part of it with them now. And I couldn't be more happy about the opportunity I've got coming. So it's going to be a special place. It is a special place, and I truly love the fact that people take so much pride in it because that trickles down to the kids and the people who are in the school. And you know, where you're at, you need to take pride in where you're at and what you're doing. I think that's a lifelong lesson. Be proud of who you are, what you are, and who you represent.
Yeah. You know, you've coached at a lot of different schools. You've been in a couple schools in Rowan County. You've been in Cabarrus County. You know what it's like to be in a school that's got multiple, I mean, 7, 8, 5 high schools that you've got to compete with within that county, just for resources from the county, you know, when it comes to building a program and, you know, money's everything. You know, you got to buy helmets, shoulder pads. You want the best equipment to outfit the players so, you know, they're safe. And also the tools as a coach and a coaching staff you need to be able to build the program and the image that you want to build it. It's got to be kind of a cool deal to go to a county that's a single county system where they have the tools, but also the desire to outfit you with what you need and not have to worry about maybe competing with 5 other high schools.
You know, if you're speaking to coaches, I think that's always something that we talk about, getting the opportunity to go to a program that is really the only show in town. And you don't have to compete with a lot of those people in the same county or the same area sometimes because you said the key word. Sometimes it's about resources, and having the resources to run a program the way that you want to run it is a great opportunity. But then you think about being in a situation like a Davie County where you've got 3 middle schools in that county. If you just think about it and think about your depth chart and think about the kids that should be coming through your program, about every 2 years, you should have 15 offensive linemen coming through, 9 to 12 defensive linemen, 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 8 to 12 wideouts and DBs. So if you build into those resources and build into the pipelines that you have just within that one community, the depth chart should never be a problem. So that's always something you think about. And Coach Bennett, my old college coach, who everybody knows through social media and going viral. I mean, he made a statement to me years ago when I was playing at Catawba, and it's held true. Competition breeds success. So you're going to have competition just because you have those guys within your program, again, that take pride in the program. And they want to compete because they want to be the ones on the field on Friday night. So that's an awesome thing. I think that's going to be exciting. But like you said, financially, the resources that are available, to hire coaches, to get coaches in the building, to get a full staff, there's positives and negatives all throughout it. But I've always said, and sometimes it's a good thing and a bad thing. I don't get fired for what happens on Thursday night, but if you're working in a system that doesn't have as many paid assistants, and you really got to focus on what's going to happen when those kids are playing Friday night, sometimes those JVs get shortchanged.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get fired for what happens on Thursday night, but what happens on Thursday night is eventually going to affect Friday night. So being able to get more assistants on the field to really focus and give everybody the attention they deserve is very key and very important. So I'm looking forward to that opportunity as well. And then being able to know if I go into this middle school, these kids are mine. I don't, not 25% of them, but all those kids are mine. So that's going to be something I'm really excited about, and being able to get down into the middle school and work with them a little bit more as well.
And that was going to be my next question. Will you have the autonomy to be able to go to the middle school coaches and not necessarily dictate to the letter what they're going to run, but maybe try to start at that early age, formulating the same terminology? So, everything from maybe just getting in the huddle or whatever the basics are. So by the time they get to the campus and the high school, they're on the same page and able to really absorb what you're trying to teach them.
It's like you just said, I think the key word is terminology, Chris. I think, that's a big thing in high school football. It's a big thing in football in general. If I could just get everybody in the same terminology, it doesn't matter to me what offense you're running, what defense you're running, but let's all be on the same page with the terminology, just so I know when they come to us at the high school, we're all speaking the same language. It's crazy. When I went to Catawba, if you would have asked me what a 3 technique is, I couldn't have told you, because I was never taught that in high school or middle school. But that's something I would love for these kids to understand. So whenever we're talking about techniques and scheme and the things we're trying to do, we're all on the same page. And I just think that advances the process a little quicker.
Absolutely. We do have some comments coming in here. Billy Wisnett says, my man Hinson, congratulations, buddy. So getting some fan mail in here for you, Coach.
Hey, BJ was a old teammate of mine at Catawba, and without him, I don't think I'd have been ready to play my red shirt freshman year. He kind of took me under his wing and helped me learn some things, and assignment wise, because he played right tackle and I played left tackle. But that's a great human being right there. I love Billy Joe. He's an awesome man.
All right. And again, guys, I appreciate the people that are tuned in to watch us live tonight. This will continue to be streamed on YouTube, on the Carolina Preps website, as well as on the Facebook. So, a lot of people will probably get an opportunity to watch this after the fact. But appreciate all you guys that are taking some time out on your Wednesday evening to watch us talk football. One last thing before I cut you loose, Coach Hinson. The fans at Davie County, we know that they're a proud group of people. They love their football. What can the fan at Davie County expect in a Brian Hinson-led program? And maybe what can the parents and the players and just everybody associated with the program, what can they expect when you take over?
I think the big thing is, like I mentioned with Coach Bennett, Coach Bennett told me something years ago before I went to my first practice at Sosbee. And to some people it sounds crazy, but he said, tell them you love them. I think one of the big things is we got to pour into these young student athletes, these young men that we're coaching, to, number one, make them better people, make them better husbands when they get married and better fathers. So that's going to be something that we concentrate on. I want to be sure we hire the right people that are truly care about the young men that we get the privilege to coach every day. But on the football field, I think we're going to be I want us to be a very disciplined team. But you're also sitting here talking to a lineman, Chris. I think, sometimes the physicality of the game has been lost, and a lot of people don't like the physicality of the game anymore. So I don't mind winning ugly football games. Everybody wants to talk about offense and spread and X's and O's sometimes, and yeah, it looks good. I don't care how we win. We can win pretty, or we can win ugly, just as long as we win and do it the right way. But I want us to be a physical football team, be a disciplined football team, and whatever it takes to win, let's do it, and let's just do it the right way and take pride in who we are.
All right. I love that word pride. That was always a staple of a Larry Deal program down at South Rowan back in the day, that old Raider pride. Hey, got another Rowan County guy that has chimed in, Pete Kalinowski. We know him, and I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it in Coach Bennett's voice. Need more dogs.
That's it. Old Pete's a good buddy of mine, and we've had a lot of good times. I actually got to coach with Pete years ago. And Pete's son, is tearing it up at West Rowan, playing a little bit of offensive line over there. And I'm interested to see how Max does in his senior season and coming up. The crazy thing is, Max and my daughter were born a month apart, and Pete and I were coaching at that time together. And we went through the whole process of having children and coaching high school football at that time. So Pete's a good buddy. I definitely don't get to see him as much as I'd like to anymore, but what an awesome person.
Well, you should be able to renew that rivalry. If I haven't seen how the new schedules will shake out with the NCHSA realignment, which is still pending, but I think for a millennia, West Rowan and Davie have always played about that week 2 date on the schedule, and that's always been a huge fan field rivalry.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Lewis, Coach Kraft and I get along really well, and we've already talked about it a little bit, but it'd be an awesome experience to be able to go play West Rowan at Davie County and just enjoy the experience in the crowd. That's one of the big things, is getting the crowd out there and everybody having a good time on a Friday night.
Yeah, Pete says that you're getting old.
Oh, very much so. A little gray and not as much hair as I used to have. Now I got to wear a big old hat at practice to stay out of the sun a little bit. So, age creeps up on you.
Hey, you can tell by all the gray hair I'm supporting. I'm right there with you, so it's all good. That just means we got a lot of experience.
Yes, sir. I'll trade you the thinness for the gray right now. I'll take a little bit of those thick locks you got.
I hear you. Hey, my hair is longer than it's been in 30 years. I just, for whatever reason, was like, I'm going to grow my hair out, and haven't really had it cut since November 1st. So here we go. Maybe that is the Russell Stone wearing off on me from working with Coach Stone for so many years.
Oh, yeah. You talked another great human being right there. What a treasure that guy is.
Absolutely. Just celebrated his 70th birthday on February 2nd.
Good for him. I need to shoot him a text then.
No kidding. Will you be at the clinic this weekend?
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it. Actually, a big honor for me. I selected to coach in the All-Star game coming up, the East-West All-Star game in December. So I think the West staff is going to get together and meet a little bit on Friday. But I always enjoy going up. I missed it last year. I had the opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, which was an awesome experience last year in Vegas. But I'm looking forward to getting back to the clinic this year, seeing some friends and talking ball and learning a little bit. It's always a great experience to be there on the Winter Clinic. North Carolina does a lot of great things for high school football coaches, and you're a big part of that, Chris. And just, I'd like to thank you for everything you do for high school football, the kids, the coaches, and just the state in general for what you do for high school football. You and Dina, y'all both do a lot of good things for the coaches out there. So thank you from us to you.
Well, thank you, Coach. And, it's glad to be back. I've kind of taken about a 4-year, I ain't going to say a complete break, but, I've not been as immersed in football the past 4 years as I had been, but, time to get back in the deep end of the pool. So here we are. But Coach Hinson, again, congratulations on just such an enormous hire up there at Davie County. I know it's always bittersweet when you leave a good program like you've been working with at West Cabarrus. And I know you told the players this morning, and that had to be a tough moment. But we wish you the best, and we'll be around to support your program, and anything we can do for you here at Carolina Preps, just let us know.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it and looking forward to it. And again, thank you. And as they say, go War Eagles.
All right. Yeah, that's Coach Brian Hinson, as we said, approved last night at the board meeting to be the new head football coach at Davie County. So appreciate him getting on here with us tonight to talk some football. Again, welcome here to the CarolinaPreps.com podcast. I'm Chris Hughes, Inside the Headset. And again, I told you when we started the show, we got a jam-packed show. So we're going to go right to the next coach, another guy who just got hired for a big job. And we just talked to Brian Hinson, a big county school job. Well, this is another one of those one county school jobs. It's on the precipice of doing some really big things. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my friend, Coach John Wheeler. Coach, congratulations on the job. How are you doing today?
I'm pretty tired, to be honest. Today was National Signing Day here at Pembroke, so it's been quite a day for sure.
And I was going to bring that up. A lot of these coaches, you transition from high school job to high school job. Here you've been in the college ranks for the last several years and tearing it up down there at Pembroke, being on that good Brave staff. And now here you are going back into the high school ranks. It's going to be a big transition, I imagine.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. The transition is going to be a whole lot different than what people expect. It is a great opportunity to be here at UNC Pembroke with the great staff under Coach Hall. But I'm excited to be heading to Martin County.
Well, tell me, what was it about Martin County that was the big allure? Obviously, if you think back in time, Williamston football, I think of Harold Robinson and the big stuff he did, and Asim McGill, and even before the consolidation with Roanoke and Coach Nolan Respus, and that's just a football happy community. They did this consolidation into one county school a couple years ago, and I think, just talking to, Coach Jinks and some of the guys that were on that staff last year, I think that things are really ramping up to be big. And I think in a shorter amount of time than not, you guys might be right there on the heels of a Tarboro, one of those elite powers in the 1A and whatever the new rank, with the new reclass moving forward. I just think you guys are set to do some big things.
I mean, it goes back to when I played at Currituck. Williamston was a conference game for us, and so I kind of understood the tradition and the level of athleticism and how serious they took athletics and football in that part of the state. And, it was just something that I always admired. Even growing up and I began coaching, I don't think that sentiment changed at all. Now that we had the opportunity to talk with, Principal Grantley Mizell, who's in charge there at Martin County now. He reached out and he said, man, just shot in the dark. Is this something you'd be interested in? And that area of the state being home to me and the opportunity to be closer to family and all those things at the time, really appealed. So we went through the process and here we are.
You mentioned Grantley Mizell, the principal. He was a pretty good head football coach in his own right. And it's got to be a good feeling coming into a school as a football coach to work for a principal that was a football coach too. He's going to get it. He's going to understand some of the needs that you have. And I feel like he should be a whole lot easier to work with in understanding, your schedule and what you need to do than maybe a principal that didn't have that athletic background.
Correct. And I think he's very serious, as well as Dr. White, our superintendent, as well as Coach McGill, the county athletic director. I think they're very serious about not just athletics, but other extracurricular activities for our students in Martin County as well. I think that's important. I think it's important for administration to see the benefits, not just on the field or with the trophies and championships, but, with discipline, with test scores and all those things. The data screams so loudly, so to have an administration like those guys that understand the seriousness and importance of extracurriculars and athletics is huge, and played a big role in my decision to take this position.
You touched on something that kind of struck a chord with me, and I want to kind of see if we can kind of go in on this a little deeper. You talked about everything other than just football. You've been at the collegiate level here the past few years, so you're well versed with recruiting. Obviously, today being National Signing Day, I know everybody gets enamored with the film aspect of a player and, the attributes and, what they've done on the field. But how much more other than just what you see on the field do you guys as a college staff look for when recruiting a player? I mean, the whole body of work, the family side of things, the school side of things, just being a good citizen and a good person in general. How much of that comes together when looking for talent at the collegiate level?
I think that's huge. And I think you touched on it as well. One of the things that we talk about all the time is we're going to see what kind of player you are based on the film, so that's going to jump off the screen. And then when we go talk to your coaches, we go talk to you in person. That's when we're really evaluating all the other things. What is your personality? What are your interests? Are you really this guy that we think you are? We're going to talk to people in the school. One of the old cliches is we're going to talk to the front desk personnel, and we're going to talk to people in the hallways and just see, is this really who you are? Or is this kind of a show? So again, there's so much evaluation that goes into the recruitment of an individual. That's not just oh man, he had great stats or 1,000 touchdowns or something like that. Yeah, those things are great, but if you don't fit the mold of what we're trying to build here, and even here at UNC Pembroke, we have a specific style of player that we're looking for, and we want to make sure that you check all those boxes.
Yeah, I think that's just so vitally important. And, it's been a few years since I used to speak at, recruiting seminars and things like that to parents. But I think that just the whole body of work of the kid, and not just the kid, the parents as well.
Right.
Colleges don't want to recruit a player who's got parents that are going to be an issue, because you're inheriting that issue as well. And I just think that the whole body of work of just being a good human being and a good citizen is just as important, if not a little bit more important, than what you see on the athletic field.
It's true. I mean, literally everything you do in the recruiting process is being evaluated. Everything.
Well, again, Coach John Wheeler, I appreciate you coming on. One final question before I cut you loose here tonight. And again, I appreciate you coming on with me on a Wednesday evening. What can the fans up there in Williamston and in Martin County, what can they expect from a Coach Wheeler run program? I know it's been a few years since she's the head coach up at Currituck, and they're familiar with what you did when you were there. But now that you're at the program here in Williamston, what can fans and players expect?
I think fans and players specifically can expect fun and an energetic environment in everything that we do, from practice to game day atmosphere. I think we've got a really good scheme coming in, coming in from the collegiate game and being around just a lot of really good people in football the past couple of years, and leaning on some really good coaches here in Eastern North Carolina for a long, long time. A lot of work has gone into this, and I'm just excited. And I think that that's going to spill over into how we coach and how we play.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, again, one more time, congratulations on the new role of being named the head football coach at Martin County. The great logo, the Gators, just the color scheme, I think that is phenomenal. I think they hit a home run when they completely rebranded that school. And I think it's just kind of cool to see you take over, and I can't wait to see what you're able to accomplish on Friday nights in the next few years.
I appreciate you, Chris. And I'm going to echo what Coach Hinson said. I do appreciate everything that you and Dina and Carolina Preps do for the students and the coaches here in North Carolina. It means a lot.
Well, Coach, I appreciate it. As always, if you got anything we can help you with here, you're welcome on the program at any time. But thanks for coming on. Will you be at the coaching clinic this weekend in Greensboro?
I plan on it. Yes, sir.
I hope to see you there. And if you need anything, give us a holler.
Sounds good. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, guys, that is Coach John Wheeler, the new head football coach at Martin County. Appreciate him coming on board with us here tonight in this episode, the CarolinaPreps.com Inside the Headset podcast. Again, taking you inside the coach's office, inside the headset, letting you understand the ins and outs of the football coaching world and just everything involved with recruiting, with the actual games, the community, the history. That just goes hand in hand with everything that, is my mission here at CarolinaPreps.com. Is just to promote the community, the players, the coaches, just all the people that compete on the fields, because it's just so vitally important. It's not just the X's and O's. It's not just who wins the game, who loses the game, so on and so forth. High school football, it's that fabric, and I should just say high school sports in general. It's the fabric of communities. It's just what's so important to communities and so important to this state. And it's why I've been doing what I've been doing now for 20 plus years. And I don't think there's anything else in this world that I'd rather be doing than covering high school sports here in North and South Carolina and so on. But again, it's Wednesday night. Thanks for everybody who has gotten on to watch this show. I got one more guest coming on. He is not logged on yet. That's Coach Jim Sosbee, the new head football coach at Chase High School. He's had a great career as well. Just really got it done in South Carolina, just dominant at Greenville. And then, of course, you know what he did at Crest the past few years was just really tearing it up for them. So we'll get him on here in just a moment. But one more thing before we finish up. I know that I was on 2 nights ago, talked about some of the changes that we've got going on here at CarolinaPreps.com. If you haven't checked it out, go check out the website. I have put just an enormous amount of work into bringing it back to the website that you guys have always expected. In fact, I think I've really knocked that out of the park, and it is just so much better than ever before. Not to brag, but we've really, and my team, we've really put a lot of work into it. So go check it out. As always, we got the team pages that everybody loves. You can go on there and in most cases find scores dating back to the 1960s, 1950s. Heck, some of them I've got going back to the 1920s now. So I think that's pretty cool. In fact, I am going to go ahead and give you guys a sneak peek. If you haven't looked at it, let me see if I can pull up some of it right now just to kind of give you an idea of what we got going on. And there you go. You can see the front page. We'll put this new podcast up there momentarily. But here's the best part. You want the coaching changes? Boom, you got the coaching changes right there on the front page. All sorts of other stuff. You want to look at high school football all-star team or all-state team from the 1920s. Boom, we got it right there for you. And then, of course, everybody knows about the CarolinaPreps.com stadium project. We've got the stadiums actually inside the website now. It don't take you to a new site. So you want to look at a stadium across the state of North Carolina, boom, you got it right there. Just done a lot of work to try to make the navigation of the site easier. And of course, the main thing that I think everybody's going to love is the team pages here at Carolina Preps. Something new, we've got every school in North Carolina, but also every school in South Carolina. So go check it out. And again, something pretty cool. We'll pull up the Crest page. Coach Greg Lloyd, we mentioned Coach Sosbee coming on. We'll talk about his time at some of the different schools as well. But something pretty cool is that if you go here to record versus all-time opponents, you can see every game that a team has played against their rival. In fact, something cool, go here to A.L. Brown. You know how the rivalry with Concord is the oldest rivalry in the state. 97 times these two teams have played. You can go through here, scroll through the site. You can see every game, every score, every coach. It's just really cool. Packed full of a lot of information. So again, go check us out here. I think that you guys will really enjoy it. I think that it's something that, we've been getting told for years and years and years that people just love the information. And again, we've got every school from South Carolina as well. So check it out. I hope you guys enjoy all the hard work that we put in. We're waiting here for Coach Sosbee to join. He said he'd be on here in just a few seconds. If anybody is watching this right now, I know we still got a handful of users. If you want to send us a shout out, we'd love to put your comment up here on the board. And also, I just want to get this opportunity to talk about one of our sponsors, Red Zone Strength. Coach Jeff Chapman. Everybody around the state knows Coach Chapman. Been around the game of high school football now for about 50 years. He is just a phenomenal resource to coaches and just everybody in the state of North Carolina. I say he is the best weight room designer, weight room builder there is. Being a former coach, anybody can go to one of these weightlifting companies, weight room companies to build a facility. But you don't get Jeff Chapman. Jeff Chapman, he is just phenomenal. Not only his background as a coach, but his expertise as being an engineer and a machinist and being able to design a weight room to fit your needs. And how does he know your needs? Because he's been there. He knows what it's like to face the grind of coaching every day. So go check him out. Again, that is Red Zone Strength. We've got the brand new website, redzonestrength.com. Pretty cool. Got all the equipment and everything that you could get on there. They have outfitted some of the best programs in the state of North Carolina. And, you talk about some of those weight rooms is just phenomenal. That one over at Pinecrest, it sticks out. Just some phenomenal weight rooms. Mount Tabor, just a colossal indoor facility at Montgomery Central and up there at Swain County. So give him a call. Red Zone Strength, Jeff Chapman. You will be glad that you did. Waiting here for Coach Sosbee to get on. I'm going to send him a quick message just to let him know that we're ready. All right. And other than that, what do you guys think? Any questions for me? I know we've got a few couple seconds of some dead air. So, I'm not trying to bore you guys here with some dead air on the football show tonight. But if anybody's got any questions, feel free to send them in. Oh, there we go. Coach Sosbee, he is lining up. So let's bring him on. Move the mouse over here. Coach, how you doing? Welcome to the program. Can you hear me?
Man, I need to figure out how I can hear you.
What? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me, Chris?
I got you loud and clear.
Man, I can barely hear you though. Let me down just a little close. Make my head a little bigger. Maybe somebody think I'm smart.
Well, hey, congratulations. Big time job getting named the head football coach at Chase yesterday or this morning, I guess it was. We'll wait for you to get back in the picture.
I'm trying to get where I can hear you. I got my volume all the way up. Hold on, let me do this. Yeah. Talk to me now.
I got you. Can you hear me?
Hey, there we go. That's good. We can figure it out. This might take us a minute.
It's okay. Hey, appreciate you getting on. And the news broke today. You taking over the new head football coach at Chase High School. I'm going to say it right now. They couldn't get a better head coach out there. I was talking a little bit before you came on with your background and just the enormous amounts of success that you've had both in North and South Carolina. I think the fans over there in Rutherford County, I think they're in for some good times ahead.
Man, I appreciate it. I've been lucky, man. I've been at some schools with some really good players and had some really good coaches to help me. So I wish I could say I was super smart, but man, I've been lucky, been at good places.
Well, what is it? I've been to your practices, I've been to your games. I've been around your programs for a long time. Hendersonville, Crest. What is it about your style? Like, how do you feel your style relates to different programs? And maybe what I'm really trying to ask is, what do you think are the fans, the players, everybody surrounding the program at Chase, what can they expect from one of your Jim Sosbee program?
Yeah, so I kind of told them today, man. I wish there was just a peel like in the Matrix that I could give them that all of a sudden you're going to be good, but it's just hard work. Just got to get after it, man. We want to be fundamentally sound, have good technique, but we're going to do the things that I know, man. We're going to try to find somebody where we can throw it around a little bit. On defense, we're going to chase people around, play like our hair is on fire, and get after the ball. So we're just, I think the thing that I'm lucky that I get along with kids, man. So, and I just can really just relate to them, I guess, and get the point across that we want to do something special, but we got to be able to do it together.
Yeah, I can, it's funny you talking about relating with kids and, I feel like you just have this, not just a likability, but, I remember standing with you. I don't know if you remember this, just standing with you on the field at Hendersonville a few years ago, watching you guys work out during the spring and then, spending some time with you even at Crest during the practice. And you just kind of have this vibe that, I feel like players will just run through the wall from you. And I think it's just because, I say this all the time, even dating back to when I was coaching, players, they have a good BS meter. They can tell if someone's really legit and cares about them and versus someone that's just out there maybe for their own reasons. And I just feel like players just feel like for whatever reason, they could run through a wall from you and wall for you. And I think that just shows to just what kind of coach you are and why I think your record is what it is.
But I appreciate that, man. I definitely want to help them help their career football wise, non-football wise. So I want to do everything I can for them. We're going to work them hard, but we're going to love on them and with that same energy. So I think that they know that that's real.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to bring this up. It's something I was thinking about earlier in the day. You're taking over there at Chase. again, kind of on that border area between North and South Carolina.
Right.
You've been in Cleveland County, you've been in Hendersonville, you've also been just across the border in South Carolina. And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's something in the water, I don't know if it's just the communities, I'm not really sure. But what is it about that stretch of real estate that really runs from, if you really want to get honest, Richmond County, Scotland County, all the way through Charlotte, that border, those border counties on both sides of the state line, whether we're talking Marlboro County or Cherokee County with Gaffney or Spartanburg or Greenville, there's just something about that piece of land that produces some really good football.
Man, no doubt about it. There's some really good football. We would like to bottle that up and keep it to ourselves. We don't want to let that get out. But I think there's some really good coaches, communities to get behind and support to make it easy for guys to work. Man, but it is a hotbed. You definitely got that right.
And another thing I just kind of wanted to ask you, I had Coach Donnie Kiefer on the other night. Of course, he spent the last 8 years in South Carolina, won a couple state championships. I think he's sitting at like 280 wins. So, I mean, he's had incredible success. You're another one of those guys that has bounced back and forth, had great success at schools in both North and South Carolina. What do you see the biggest difference between the two states? I mean, I know that kids are kids and, different communities or what, but how do you see the importance that maybe one state places on football maybe versus the other, or maybe the difference that you've seen in your time in both states?
Yeah, so one thing that really helps, I think, the South Carolina guys is that spring practice where they get to really do a real spring practice and have that spring game, and it's real. You can teach a lot of stuff, tackling and stuff that you can get out of the way. So when fall gets here, you don't really have to go over that as much because you can do it in spring practice and have a whole group to do it. So that's big that they got those 15 days and 12 of them in full pads, and then they got a few more scrimmages. So that that the more you play, the better you're going to be. So that's helpful. North Carolina's got its pluses too. We get to do a lot more stuff in the summer wise, group wise together than South Carolina. They're not having joint practices and stuff like that. So both it's got their things, but I think the spring practice is really the biggest one.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity to get on here just to kind of talk a little bit about you getting this new job. Anything that you want to throw out there to Chase Nation who maybe don't know a lot about you other than, you've been the head coach at, Crest or Hendersonville or Greenville, South Carolina. Maybe what's something about you that maybe just the average fan don't know?
Well, we're gonna work hard. I wish there was some big secret, but I don't know. I think I'm hilarious.
I agree with you right
I'm
there.
funny, and very humble. So if you know those two things right there, you got me pretty much well summed up. We're gonna have a good time, man. It's gonna be a fun ride. It's gonna be exciting. We're gonna play hard as we can. It's gonna be wide open, and then just let the chips fall where they may. But we're gonna get after it.
Well. Again, congratulations. I know that they're going to be happy to have you running their program. I can't wait to see what the future holds for you and for the program there. I hope you invite us out to a practice or something one day.
You already open invitation. Open invitation.
All right. Well, Coach, I appreciate it. Getting on with us here on a Wednesday night. Hope to see you here soon. And if there's anything we can do for your program, just let us know.
Thanks, man. I appreciate what you do for these kids.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, have a good evening.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. Again, that is Coach Jim Sosbee, the head football coach at Chase High School. Been a good guy for many years. It's always good to go up there and hang out with him. Invited me to a Thanksgiving Day practice at Crest 2 or 3 years ago, and man, that was just a great time. Just to see all the alumni come out and just want to hang out with him in that program. That was a really cool day. But anyway, guys, I have taken up enough of y'all's time here on this episode of the CarolinaPreps.com podcast. Inside the Headset, like I promised, I take you in to the coaches' offices inside the heads and the headsets of these coaches and give an opportunity to you kind of see and understand what they've got going on. Appreciate everybody who's joined us today, and we're going to do this again here real soon. I will be at the North Carolina football coaches meetings and convention this weekend in Greensboro. But we'll come back next week, hopefully with a lot of content and a lot of stories that we find this weekend. But for everybody who joined us, thanks for coming on board. Again, go visit our sponsors, Red Zone Strength, Coach Jeff Chapman, and Chatley Boats and Chatley Marina in Sanford, North Carolina. We couldn't do what we do here at Carolina Preps without the support of our sponsors and everybody over the past 20 years or so who has supported us. But again, I am Chris Hughes. Go check us out at CarolinaPreps.com. I will catch you guys next time.